My partner messaged me. I'm not your possession, quit phoning me. I responded, got it. I'm no longer your boyfriend. Stay away from the apartment. Then I replaced the locks. Quiet followed. Several hours passed before the tear-filled calls began. For background, I'm Alex, 31-year-old male. My partner, Jenna, is 29-year-old female. We've dated almost 3 years, cohabiting in my name-only apartment for the past 12 months. Everything unfolded yesterday, and calls keep pouring in even as I write this. Yesterday afternoon, Jenna failed to return from her job at the regular time. No warning, no mention of delay. Near 7 p.m., I dialed her number, directly to voicemail. I sent a text asking if all was fine. Silence in reply. After 60 more minutes, I attempted again. Still nothing. Between 9 p.m. and midnight, my phone exploded. Her message read, I'm not your possession, quit phoning me. Zero context. No prior disagreement. Simply that statement. Something inside me broke, differently from my usual pattern. I skipped arguing. I avoided questioning her location. I refused to say sorry for an unclear offense. I studied the text for a full minute and recognized that familiar sharpness. The exact attitude she deployed to terminate discussions and cast me as the issue. So I answered, got it. I'm no longer your boyfriend. Stay away from the apartment. Next, I took an unprecedented step. I swapped out the locks. Before criticism arrives, let me state plainly, the rental agreement lists only my name. I cover rent, bills, all expenses. Jenna chips in occasionally, though mysteriously never when payments are actually due. Once the locks were swapped, I flipped my phone screen down and stayed silent. No theatrical texts. No chasing messages. Pure quiet. 3 hours went by. Then incoming calls commenced. Missed call after missed call. Voicemail. Additional voicemail. Come midnight, my phone resembled a disaster zone. I haven't played any recordings yet. That's precisely where I remained frozen. The initial voicemail arrived at 12:07 a.m. I skipped listening. I could already foresee the progression. Fury, shock, desperation, followed by weeping. Jenna always followed that sequence precisely. By 12:30 a.m., the tally reached 11 missed calls plus 4 voicemails. Her texts began changing flavor too. Alex, quit joking. You're overreacting. Unlock the door immediately. I remained mute. This wasn't a game on my part. This was me accepting her statement at face value. She declared she wasn't my possession. Very well. Possession suggests entitlement. Rights. Joint territory. Those require mutual respect. Near 1 a.m. banging echoed. Not wild yet. Measured. As though she believed she could still force her way past a simple mix-up. Alex, she shouted past the door. Open up. I refused to argue in the corridor. I stayed still. She twisted the handle. First attempt. Second attempt. On the third, she paused. Quiet descended. Then came the clear click of her heels hitting the floor as she removed them. You've lost your mind, she hissed through the wood. We argued. Grown-ups don't behave like this. We hadn't argued. She sent one line. I honored it. That triggered the attacks. You're paranoid. You're domineering. This proves exactly why I required distance from you. I rested against the kitchen counter, surprisingly composed. Each accusation merely verified a truth I'd dodged for months. At 1:18 a.m. her voice faltered. Alex, she continued, gentler. I forgot my charger. My belongings are inside. Still no reply from me. Another call attempt. I observed the screen glow, then fade on the counter. At 1:34 she slumped against the door. The sound carried. Her tone transformed entirely. I didn't intend it that way, she murmured. You realize I didn't. I shut my eyes. That exact phrase had trailed every limit she'd ever violated. For the first time, I offered no reaction. I spent the night on the sofa, not from sorrow, but because the bedroom seemed like territory I hadn't reclaimed. Morning arrived. My phone showed 37 missed calls. While brewing coffee, I finally played the messages. The opening pair contained pure wrath. The following trio held incredulity. By the sixth, her pitch lowered and pace slowed, as though weighing each syllable. Alex, please. I have nowhere to stay. You can't simply bar me outside. That nearly cracked my resolve. Nearly. At 8:46 a.m. a knock sounded. Gentler this time. Restrained. Polite. The version of Jenna who appears when necessity arises. I cracked the door, security chain engaged. She appeared destroyed. Mascara streaked. Hair hastily tied back. wearing a hoodie I knew well, technically mine. She straightened instantly upon seeing me. Fury reignited. So you're actually following through, she stated. You believe you can wipe me away in one night. I didn't wipe you away, I answered. You set the boundary. She snorted. That message concerned personal limits. You're distorting everything. No, I countered. It concerned lack of respect. Her gaze darted beyond me into the unit. I reside here. You resided here, I clarified. With me. She folded her arms. This counts as mistreatment, you realize. Sealing me outside this way. That term once more. Mistreatment. She frequently brandished it whenever responsibility felt unpleasant. I never laid hands on you, I stated evenly. I issued no threats. I never pursued you. You instructed me to cease contact. I ceased completely. That isn't my meaning, she retorted. I understand, I replied. You desired authority minus fallout. Her cheeks flushed. You lack authority to rule that. I studied her closely and grasped a chillingly straightforward fact. I already possessed that authority. She switched approaches immediately. Tears appeared instantly. I simply required breathing room yesterday evening, she whispered. I never imagined you'd react so drastically. I nodded. That's precisely the issue. You never imagine I will. She searched my expression for the familiar yielding man. He was absent. That moment she comprehended this wasn't intimidation. This was genuine. She lingered in the hallway, treating the door like a bargaining table. One palm on her waist, the other gripping her device, gaze shifting from my face to the chain as though plotting strategy. So what happens next? She inquired. You discard me like garbage? I'm not discarding you, I answered. I'm upholding your own declaration. She gave a bitter chuckle. You're impossible. I wanted one evening free from your constant messages, and suddenly I'm without shelter. One evening. I lifted an eyebrow. You never requested breathing room. You declared you weren't my possession and ordered me to stop dialing. She rolled her eyes dramatically. God, you take everything word for word. You grasp my intention. That's exactly the difficulty, I said. It's perpetually your intention, never your actual statement. She pressed nearer the door, dropping her volume as though volume could gentle the message. Unlock it. We'll discuss indoors. You're humiliating yourself in public. There again. Appearance. Dominance. Directing the narrative. I'm not unlocking anything, I stated. You may collect necessities afterward when we schedule properly. Her composure shattered instantly. So this is retaliation, she hissed. Because I failed to report in like an obedient partner? No, I answered. This is me actually hearing you. She gazed at me, speechless. You can't terminate everything via one message. You terminated it via one message. I countered. I simply ratified it. Her phone vibrated. She checked it briefly, then met my eyes again. Where should I go? I have no idea, I admitted truthfully. But that ceased being my concern the instant you ruled I wasn't permitted to worry. The impact struck deeper than anticipated. Her lips parted, then sealed. Briefly genuine alarm surfaced. Not grief over our relationship. Alarm concerning practicalities. She gulped. You're truly committed. I nodded. For the first time, yes. She retreated gradually, as though the floor had become unreliable. You'll regret this, she murmured more softly. Possibly, but I already held knowledge she lacked. The regret of remaining had finally surpassed the dread of departing. That scale rarely reverses. She exited the premises shortly afterward. Yet she stayed nearby. From the peephole, I observed her walking circles in the lot. Phone glued to her ear. Gestures lively. I needed no audio to recognize the narrative. I was erratic. I was possessive. I'd barred her over nothing. Her motions toward the structure confirmed I'd become the antagonist in a freshly scripted tale. Around midday, texts restarted. My mother claims your actions violate law. Lauren insists you cannot abruptly evict me. You're demonstrating precisely why distance was necessary. I ignored them. 60 minutes later, another shift. Alex, please. I'm drained. I haven't rested. I simply want clothing and my computer. That sounded sensible. Deliberately phrased. Absent blame. Absent finger-pointing. Merely practical needs. I answered with a single line. We'll schedule a time later with a witness present. Her typing indicator flashed immediately. Then stopped. Then flashed again. So now you distrust me? I stared at the display, oddly disconnected. This concerned patterns, not trust. Trust requires reciprocal sincerity. We operated on repetition. I rely on repetition. I responded, not empty words. That concluded my outgoing messages. Mid-afternoon, she switched strategy. She returned, accompanied by Lauren this time. Lauren lingered several paces behind, arms folded, evidently recruited as support. Jenna tapped lightly, courteously, performing maturity. Alex, she called through the barrier. We're capable of adult discussion. I kept quiet. Lauren coughed. Things are spiraling unnecessarily. You're worsening the situation. I spoke at last, volume sufficient. I'm not intensifying anything. I'm concluding it. Jenna's tone fractured. After tolerating so much from you, those words finalized everything. I understood then her distress stemmed not from losing me personally. It stemmed from losing entry to the residence, the security, the accommodating version of myself who always relented. Clarity removed urgency. That evening the apartment achieved unprecedented stillness. No pacing, no heavy exhales, no pointed drawer banging, merely refrigerator drone and my phone glowing every 10 minutes, attempting to shame me into response. I ignored every ring. At 9:42 p.m., a voicemail finally forced me to pause. Alex, she uttered, quivering. I cannot fathom your coldness. I loved you. I continue loving you. You cannot simply exclude me as though I held zero value. That ranked among her most candid remarks all day. Not truly concerning affection, but concerning entry. Because affection, in her view, always carried stipulations. Availability. Obedience. My perpetual reachability regardless of treatment received. I reflected on countless occasions being labeled excessive for showing concern. Excessive for inquiring. Excessive for desiring ordinary dialogue. And suddenly I became callous for halting. Near 11 p.m. another knock arrived. Desperate rather than courteous. Alex, please, she wept beyond the barrier. I'll utter anything you desire. Simply allow entry. Those words froze me. Utter anything desired. Not resolve matters. Not repair. Merely regain admission. I'm keeping it locked, I stated evenly. Prolonged silence followed. Then rage erupted. You're inflicting this to hurt me, she shrieked. You imagine yourself heroic? No, I answered. I believe I finally paid attention. She wept intensely then, collapsing against the entrance. Briefly my heart squeezed. Normally that moment broke me. Normally I persuaded myself her suffering outweighed mine. But transformation had occurred. Opening now would select repetition, not kindness. I hope tonight finds you secure, I said. But we've finished. Weeping ceased abruptly. Silence descended. That instant confirmed her realization. Not my anger. My inaccessibility. Morning arrived with an unexpected alert. Email. Subject. Can we discuss maturely? I nearly chuckled. Jenna despised email. Too lasting. Too documented. Precisely why she chose it now. Messages failed. Rings failed. Weeping failed. This reframed matters as sensible. The message stretched lengthy. Meticulously composed. She claimed feeling endangered. Feeling ambushed. Feeling emotionally deserted. Trauma appeared twice. She subtly hinted at involving authorities should I persist uncooperatively. That finally sparked anger. Not explosive. Directed. I answered in 3 brief lines. You directed me to cease calling. I complied. You stated you weren't my possession. I accepted. Belongings retrieval can be coordinated via neutral party. Nothing further. 10 minutes afterward, unknown caller rang. Ignored. Additional rings. Then another. Then a message from her sister. Untouched contact in months. What's wrong with you? Blocked. Early afternoon, Jenna reappeared. Solo this time. No ally. No reinforcement. Simply herself. Positioned in the corridor, eyes inflamed, hands unsteady. I require only my computer, she stated past the barrier. Please. Work demands it. I paused. Not from uncertainty, but because this marked the first purely functional appeal. Practical. Human. Step away, I instructed. I'll deliver it downstairs. Chain resecured. I retrieved the device, cracked the door minimally, and passed it through. Fingers never brushed. She gazed upward as though encountering me anew. You're truly not reversing course, correct? I shook my head. Neither are you. She began protesting, then halted. Shoulders dropped. That instant conflict concluded. Not via shouting. Via unrequested surrender. The residence still felt temporary, as though awaiting her return to critique my errors. That evening I packed her possessions. Not theatrically, systematically. Garments neatly arranged. Footwear matched. Toiletries secured. I noticed how extensively she'd occupied space, physically, psychologically. Drawers untouched by me because hers. Shelves off limits due to her preferred style. Near 8 p.m. another buzz arrived. Fresh number. Alex, it's Jenna. Don't disconnect. No reply. Immediate follow-up. Anger has passed. I simply seek clarity on how matters escalated. That irritated me. Not the desire for clarity, the pretense of suddenness. At 9:15 FaceTime attempt. Declined. Then arrived her lengthiest message. Multiple sections. Regret blended with accusation. I felt swamped. You interpreted too strictly. I never believed you'd truly depart. That closing line weighed heavily. She never believed departure possible. Then I grasped how secure she'd felt treating me as backup. How certain she remained that regardless of dismissiveness or harshness, I'd persist. Dialing. Apologizing. Maintaining stability. I composed replies. Erased them. Composed again. Erased once more. Ultimately, one sentence went out. I stood by my words. Please cease reaching out. Typing indicator surfaced. Lingered. Vanished. Then emptiness. First time since inception, no rings. No knocks. No messages. Merely stillness. In that stillness arrived an unforeseen sensation. Liberation. Stillness never endures indefinitely. 2 days afterward, building management knocked. Not hostile. Uncomfortable. Scripted phrasing evident. Jenna had approached him, alleging abrupt exclusion and necessity for essential belongings. He inquired about possible confusion. I spoke calmly. No excess detail. Simply facts. Relationship terminated, lease solely mine. Belongings transfer arranged via third party. I displayed her original stop calling text. He nodded gradually, promised documentation. That afternoon, Jenna attempted final maneuver. Handwritten note slipped beneath door. She never anticipated true abandonment. She felt wounded, bewildered. She sought only comfort, never repercussions. Concluded. I maintain faith we can salvage this if you cease obstinacy. That phrase forced me to sit. It crystallized her true request. Not restoration. Not responsibility. Reversion. She craved return of prior me. The one panicked by stop calling. Apologetic for concern. Unlocking regardless of conduct. I tucked the note away. Later I completed packing remaining items. All remnants. Clearly marked boxes. Orderly. Impartial. Absent malice. Absent remarks. Sealing final box. Phone vibrated once more. Blocked number. Ignored. For once restraint felt like resolution. Yesterday marked first contact-free day. No unfamiliar numbers. No emails. No visitors. Merely ordinary, uneventful Tuesday. I hadn't recognized my longing for ordinary until its return. I delivered packed belongings to agreed storage via Lauren arrangement. No Jenna sighting. Likely deliberate mutually. Nothing remained unsaid that actions hadn't already communicated. Driving back, I revisited that initial message once more. I'm not your possession. Quit phoning me. For weeks afterward, I questioned possible overreaction. Possible excess. Whether typical partners would apologize, unlock, soothe. Yet I now comprehend. That message concerned neither autonomy nor limits. It concerned authority absent responsibility. She desired liberty to vanish while preserving fallback security. She desired connection rejection minus access loss. She desired reassurance instantly, consequences postponed. When I honored her phrasing literally, without bargaining, the structure crumbled. Fury, weeping, desperation, not from profound affection, but from never anticipating my exit. That truth stung deeper than separation itself. I harbor no hatred. I don't view her as malicious. I believe she settled into imbalance where I perpetually sought transparency while she kept escape accessible, just in case. I sealed that escape. Not via shouting. Not via vengeance. Via stillness. So yes, locks replaced. Responses ceased. I stood behind my declaration. And for the first time in ages, I no longer await selection. I selected myself. If anyone has experienced cease concern, yet remain available from the receiving side, I'd value your viewpoint. I seek no agreement, merely clarity, because presently this stillness feels deserved.